Hello, children. Now we are going to see a prose piece written by Charles Lamb. The title of the prose is Dream Children a Reverie. I think you might have heard about it, and you might have heard about Charles Lamb also. Let us know about his early life, his birth, and his early life. Charles Lamb. You could see the image of Lamb in the picture. Charles Lamb was born in London 10 February 1775, was an English essayist best known for his Essays of Elia. Essays of Elia and for the children's book. He is a very famous prose writer. Essays of Elia. Actually, the name Elia is his nickname. In his college days, in his uh, degree period, okay, while he's studying in his college, he looks, he resembles like a girl, a young girl. So his seniors, his seniors in the college, teases him with the name of Elia because he resembles somewhat a woman. So he was named as Elia in his college days. So he has named his essays as Elia. Okay, essays of Elia. Charles Lamb was known as Elia in his college days, and he is also famous for his children's book. Okay, Dream Children a Reverie is a childhood memory of Charles Lamb himself. Lamb was the son of Elizabeth Field and John Lamb. He was the youngest child with a sister Mary, a brother John, and four other siblings. Okay, so totally seven members in his family. And Lamb. In 1819, at age 44, Lamb, who because of family commitment had never married, fell in love with an actress and proposed marriage. She refused him and he died a bachelor. Okay? At the age of 44, he died as a bachelor. Till then, he hasn't married. Okay? As a love failure man, also he is. And work of Charles Lamb. Lamb's first publication was The Inclusion of Four Sonnets, published in 1796 by Joseph Cottle. Okay, first he has published Inclusion of Four Sonnets. Four Sonnets as a one book. Okay, it was published in 1796. Work and Life of Charles Lamb. In the first years of the 19th century, Lamb began his literary cooperation with his sister Mary. Together, they wrote at least three books. So, through this, we can come across that Mary, his sister, is also a writer, a woman who is interested in writing. Lamb was honored by a grammar school in Edmonton. Lamb died in Edmonton on 27 December 1834 at the age of 44. Okay, let us come into the prose piece Bring Children a Reverie. The children of James Elia and John and Alice asked Lamb to tell them about their great grandmother, whose name is Mrs. Field. The house belonged to a rich nobleman. Grandmother Field was the keeper of the house, and she looked after the house with great care as though it was her own. Okay, so three children: James, Elia, John, and Alice. Three children came to uh, Charles Lamb, and they asked him to tell about his great grandmother, Mrs. Field. His great grandmother, Mrs. Field, is a housekeeper. Okay, a rich nobleman's housekeeper, and she took care of the house as it is her own. Okay. The children had come to know the story from the ballad of the children in the wood in the house. The story was carved in wood upon the chimney piece. Okay, there would be a chimney piece in every houses in Europe countries. Okay, because there they live 9 months in winter, okay, and 3 months they will be having summer season, okay. So in it is probably all the houses in Europe has had chimney place, okay. So in this Mrs. Field, who is guarding the nobleman's house, has also a chimney piece, and that chimney piece is carved upon a story the children in the wood. But a foolish rich man later pulled down the wooden chimney and put a chimney of marble. Okay, and later on, when they get richer, they put down the wooden chimney piece, and then they built a new chimney with marble. Okay. Alice was very unhappy that the rich man had pulled down the chimney piece with the story. She looked upbraiding, and her anger was like her mother's. Okay. One of the children gets angry on the man who has pulled down the wooden chimney piece. When the house came to decay. Later, after the death of Mrs. Field, the nobleman carried away the ornaments of the house and used them in his new house. Okay, Wha- so all the things that is being used in the uh, country house has taken away by the nobleman, and he has used that for his new house. It happens after the death of Mrs. Field. The ornaments of the old house looked very awkward in the new house. Okay? Things looked beautiful only if they are in harmony with the surroundings. Okay? So, where it has to be kept, it has to be kept. Then only it can give the uh, light of beauty. John enjoyed the comparison and smiled as if he also felt it would be very awkward indeed. Grandmother was also very religious. Alice, her spread her spread her hands as if she was not interested in the rise of a quality of the grandmother. Children find it difficult to learn lessons by heart. It happens, but grandmother is very religious, and she also paid a great attention to that particular house when she was alive. Grandmother Field did not fear the spirits of the two infants which haunted the house at night, so she slept alone. But Elia used to sleep with his maid as he was not so religious. Because she has faith, Mrs. Field has faith in God, so she never afraid of haunted spirits. But Elia is afraid of those spirits, and as child also, and then not much religious, he sleep with his maid. When the grandmother died, many people in the neighborhood attended her funeral. She was also a good dancer when she was young. Here, Alice moved her feet unconsciously as she too was interested in dancing. Okay. We can see how a man or a woman has lived, how good a man or a woman is, only in the funeral. Okay, only in the funeral. How many people have attended the funeral of certain that particular person resembles the goodwill of that person. Grandmother was tall and upright, but later she was bowed down by a disease called cancer. So his grandmother, Mrs. Field, was affected by cancer. In the garden, there were fruits like nectarines, peaches, oranges, and others. Elijah never plucked them, but rather enjoyed looking at them. Here, John deposited a bunch of grapes upon the plate again. He was showing that he too was not tempted by fruits. Okay. From all the grandchildren, Grandmother Field loved John the most. John was lively, unspirited, fond of riding, hunting, and outdoor activities. Because he is very active. Because we are usually attracted by children who are very naughty, who are very active, okay, who are very hyper. Such like grandmother, she is also. Okay. He used to take James Elia upon his back out for outing as James Elia was lame-footed. Okay? James Elia is lame-footed, mm, and she paid much more attention on that particular child. But James was sorry for it. John died later, and James missed him much. The children began to cry at the sad turn of events. They asked him to continue the story of Uncle John, but to tell them about their dead mother. The father began to tell them how he had courted their mother, Alice, for 7 years. He was at times hopeful of winning her and at times in despair. He explained to them what coyness, difficulty, and denial mean in an unmarried lady. When the father looked at Alice, she looked at that time very much like her mother. Thereafter, the children began to grow fainter. They began to go away further and further till the father could hardly see them. From a great distance, they seemed to say that they were not children of Alice nor of him. They were not children at all. They were only what might have been. So, at last, he remembers everything. When he woke up, he found himself in an armed chair. He had fallen asleep and he had been dreaming James Elia had vanished. On the chair was only Charles Lamb. Okay, so this was really a dream. Okay, like three children were coming to him and they were asking to Charles Lamb to tell about their grandmother, and he has told everything that happened in his childhood and the glory of his grandmother. All those things were happened only in his dream. Okay, so here ends this lesson, Dream Children, a Reverie by Charles